What's up, everybody? In this video, I'll be going over some of the top mistakes that wholesalers make whenever they're trying to get their first deal or consistent deals in their wholesaling business. Let's get into it. Now, the very first mistake that I want to go over that wholesalers make is not coming up with a plan. The reason why, as a wholesaler, you should come up with a plan, because then you're not going around with the mindset of, hey, I'm gonna dump all my money into the business this month and I'm looking for a deal in 3 weeks. You should never go in with that mindset. You should be planning long term. And in order to do that, the first thing you should do is come up with a budget. When you come up with a budget for your wholesaling business, we already know that you're gonna have multiple different expenses. You're gonna have bills. You're gonna have to take care of yourself throughout the month. So of course, that's money that you can't take away from to dump into your wholesaling business. But the remaining amount that you normally put into a savings, you can actually pull most of that money from your savings and dump it into your wholesaling business, and then you have a set budget every single month that you can put into your business. Don't make the mistakes that I made for the first 2 years and didn't plan what my next move was going to be in my wholesaling business. Of course, after you do come up with that budget, the next thing should be setting goals as part of your planning. So when I say setting goals, I mean create KPIs, which is key performance indicators, that can help you reach your first deal or bringing in consistent deals every single month. So if you heard other wholesalers say something like, hey, it takes 1 in every 25 leads to close a deal, hey, you can set that for yourself and say, I want to close 1 in every 50 leads, and I don't want to have to spend no more than $200 to $300 per deal if possible. You can set those type of goals for yourself, even if you don't have KPIs to track from the beginning. But after the first couple of months of tracking your KPIs, then you can start saying, hey, all right, it looks like it's going to take me 1 in 30 leads to close a deal. But you need to set KPI goals for your business so you'll know where you're going. And once you start closing deals, then you can say that 1 in 30 leads that it take to close, I want to get that down to 1 in 15. And I know I need to spend this amount of money to close 3 to 4 deals a month. That's the main reason you should be tracking KPIs. Now, the next part of the planning phase, after you have set your KPI goals, is to determine how many potential leads or prospects you can pull every single month. That's going to be strictly based off of your budget and what you can afford. So if you're just starting out and you're a one-person operation, it may make sense for you to pull no more than 3,000-4,000 leads per month for yourself, especially if you know you're going to be the only one making calls and sending text messages in your business. That may be ideal for you. And from that point, of course, this will be part of your KPI goals. The next part of your planning should be, how many leads do you want to generate per day, per week, per month? Because then once you start tracking your KPIs, like I said before, you'll be able to track what it takes for you to close 4 to 5 deals per month. And you know, you just gotta continue to put more money into the business to generate more leads. Now, if you're getting any value out of this content, please just take 1 second, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, and click the notification bell for future content that I'll be coming out with. And that also is gonna help YouTube see that I am giving everyone valuable content, and they'll push it out to a larger audience. Now, let's get back into the video. Now, the second mistake is very common as well too. A lot of wholesalers are not putting the time aside to figure out what's the cheapest form of marketing that they can actually do in their wholesaling business to generate leads without spending so much money. When you first starting out and you got a small marketing budget of $500 to $1,000, using the cheapest form of marketing is going to be ideal for your business, because you can still generate 3, 4, 5, 6 leads a day, but you're doing it in a cost-effective way. Don't be the starting wholesaler out there like how I was and try running PPC ads from the beginning, or running Facebook ads, or sending direct mail to everybody on your list. You need to have a strategy to how you're going to do this. My recommendation whenever you're starting out is using the software such as REI Reply, which is only $49 per month to send your text messages, ringless voicemail if you can in your state, and send emails as well too to your potential sellers. Because if you can send 13,000 text messages for 0.0075 cents per text message, that's only going to cost you around $100 to send 13,000 text messages. And if you're going to use ringless voicemails, if you can in your state, you spend 0.0085 cents to send a ringless voicemails. They also come with websites, and you can cold call out of this software as well too. So feel free to check it out. But as you can see, your goal should be to talk to as many motivated sellers as you possibly can, because that's going to get you to your first deal or get you to bringing in consistent deals every single month to your wholesaling business. And the good thing about it is, once you start bringing in deals every single month consistently, then you can start expanding out to these more expensive forms of marketing. And don't get me wrong, going after PPC ads or Facebook ads or using direct mail or bandit signs, those are higher quality leads because they're reaching out to you. So those are folks that's motivated and they're looking on the internet for someone to buy their home. So it may take you 1 in 12 leads to close a PPC lead, but it may take you 1 in 50, 1 in 60 text messages to close a text message lead that you generate. But like I said, you got to get to that point first to where you can afford to spend possibly $3,000-$4,000 a month to generate deals using PPC ads or Facebook ads. The third mistake that wholesalers make is listening to too many different wholesalers. The reason why that is a mistake is because if you have one wholesaler such as myself or one real estate investor such as myself that's telling you, hey, start out reaching out to sellers using text messages and cold calling and ringless voicemails. But then you got another wholesaler saying, hey, forget all that. Use PPC ads, use Facebook ads to generate leads in your business. That's going to cause a lot of confusion. So what I recommend, find somebody that you like. Because, I understand everybody is not going to like my way of getting started in wholesaling, but find someone that you like and you stick with that person, because guess what? No matter who you decide to listen to, you still got to go through the process of filling your pipeline in your wholesaling business with leads that's going to help you get your first deal or help you get consistent deals. So like I said, find the person that you want to listen to, get locked in, and stick with your long-term plan that you created that I mentioned in step 1. The fourth mistake that wholesalers make is when they do decide to listen to a particular wholesaler that's bringing in 7, 8, 9, 10 plus deals a month, they're trying to do exactly what they see those wholesalers are doing. But guess what? Those particular wholesalers have actually built a team that can handle bringing in 100 plus leads per month in their wholesaling business. So they may have 4 or 5 cold callers or 3 to 4 people sending text messages and an acquisition manager or someone for disposition, but they actually work their way up to that. Don't compare yourself to no other wholesaler, because only thing that's going to cause you to do is quit. I've done that plenty of times before I got my first deal, and it caused you to run out of money quicker because you're trying to spend money that you don't even have. Like I said before, whenever you have a budget that you already came up with, stick with that budget until you get your first deal, and then you reinvest back in your business once you start receiving consistent deals in your wholesaling business. The fifth mistake that wholesalers make that may cost you your first, second, or third deal or one of your consistent deals is not receiving non-refundable deposits from buyers. I can't tell you how many times in the first 2 years that I made the mistake of not vetting my buyers the way I needed to and getting that non-refundable deposit. I learned that the hard way, and when I start implementing that in the dispo part of my business, I notice whenever a buyer has money tied up in the property before the closing, they're more willing to respond because they know they don't want to lose that $2,500 or that $5,000 that they currently have tied up in the property. And I even had buyers that came back after we had the property under contract and say stuff like, hey, I didn't realize that there was going to be termite damage in the property. We may lower our price a little bit because we're going to have to get that situated in the property. And the first thing I said is, hey, we already had the open house. Everybody walked through the property and you came up with your bid. Now, you already put down a non-refundable deposit on the price that we agreed to. So if you can't perform, I'm sorry to say, but we're going to have to keep that non-refundable deposit, and we're going to have to find another buyer that will be able to purchase this property. So that's just the leverage that you have in the deal whenever you have a buyer that may try some of those same things on you. Now, the sixth mistake that wholesalers make that cash buyers really hate, and I can't even blame them for this because I was one of the wholesalers that did it at the beginning, was contracting properties too high. So I will put a property under contract and I will push it out to a buyer's list that I put together on PropStream, and I will wonder why I'm not getting any responses from these buyers. The reason why is because you have it contracted too high. If you have a deal under contract and you've been pushing it out for a week, 2 weeks, and you haven't get any responses from anybody, 9 times out of 10, the property is contracted too high, or either it's in an area where buyers are not buying in. When I noticed that about myself, I give myself a whole lot more wiggle room whenever I'm making offers to sellers, and my starting offer may be lower than what my starting offer would be a couple of years ago. And of course, that depends on the market as well too. But I always give myself room when it comes down to the repairs. And if I'm making as-is offers, I still go lower because I know I can always get that back if I host an open house to the property and I have multiple buyers come in. They're going to bid up to the correct price. So make sure that you're not one of the wholesalers that contract the properties too high, because you will not get response from buyers. Now, the seventh mistake that wholesalers make that is very, very crucial to your wholesaling business is not adding the leads that they generate to follow-up campaigns. Listen, what's the use of generating leads if you're not going to follow up with these leads over time? If you generate a lead in your wholesaling business and the seller said, hey, I'm not interested in selling right now, maybe in a year, maybe in 2 years, maybe in 6 months, maybe in 5 months, guess what I'm doing compared to what you're doing? If you talk to that seller and they say, I'm not interested in selling right now, maybe in a year or two, 9 times out of 10, you probably not doing anything with the lead. You probably just moving on to the next seller. What I'm doing is I'm saying, hey, they're not interested right now, but they may want to sell in 2 years. I'm putting them in a campaign that's going to reach out to them in a year span to see if anything has changed. And then they're going to consistently get follow-ups from that point on. Or if you got a lead that say, I may want to sell in 30 days, I'm reaching out to that seller in 15 days to see if they want to sell. 80% of your deals are going to come for follow-up, so you need to make sure you spent a day or so getting your follow-up campaigns in place, because that's where all your consistent deals are going to come from. So please don't make the mistake of not adding your cold, warm, or hot leads to the appropriate follow-up sequences. Now, if you want to watch a video that's going to show you the correct cold calling setup that you need in your business, feel free to check out my video here, and I'll see you next time.